Yeah.
Yeah, we straight chillin', serial killing, pre-cold villains on the mind, got you reeling. 5-star rated from the floor to the ceiling. If you catch a 1-star, no time for feelings. Got a demon DJ on the ones and twos, by the name Beelzebub, so don't get confused. So grab a seat by the fire, roast a marlow or two, and prepare to hear the legend of the straight chillin' crew.
What up, nerds, and welcome to another redundant episode of Straight Chilling, the weekly horror movie review show where you chill and we kill, slice, dice, and chop up yet another horror movie. My name's Bob. I'll be your host for the evening. This is episode 478, recorded Monday, May 27th, 2024. Tonight we're talking about a new release, The Strangers, Chapter 1. Before we get into it, let me introduce everyone else on the show. First up, calling in from Washington, D.C., Randy. What's up, man?
Welcome.
How's it going, buddy? Are
It's
you
going
excited
good.
to talk strangers? It's gonna get strange in this bish. It's gonna get a little bit strange.
You know, this movie might not be as strange as you think, but we'll get into that. We'll get into
Okay,
all of it.
all right.
Stranger.
Last but not least, calling in from Seoul, South Korea, we got your boy Soju. What's up, man?
Oh, what up? It's your boy Soju, cuz fuck it.
Nobody cares. Nothing matters. Fuck it.
Oh man, did we call our shots about a bitch sesh this week or what?
We did. We're like, that movie's gonna suck. Let's do it anyways. And here we are. Here we
Mhm.
are. Eating a pile of shit.
God damn.
Chapter 1.
I don't know you!
Pile of shit, chapter 1. We got 2 more piles to get through, apparently. Before we get into the proper bitch sesh, let's tackle a little bit of housekeeping real quick. Here's your final reminder. Our June poll is currently posted on our Patreon website. If you guys support us at the $5 level or above, you get the chance to vote on a movie we're talking about this June. Randy, it's your takeover month. What are we doing?
That's right. We're talking cryptids this month or this coming month. It's gonna be a three-way battle between
Yeah, it
Mothman
is.
Prophecies, what? Well, Willow Creek, and shit, you threw me off my game. What's the other one? Last broadcast. It doesn't
Oh,
take much to
Randy.
derail me.
Rob!
I don't have somebody constantly prodding me on that like I do to you. So, all right.
Juice.
Yeah, Justin, continue your Yelp.
My boy Randy's a bit of a cryptid nut. Tell me how those numbers are looking.
They're looking basically identical last week. Mothman Prophecy is first place with 52% of the vote. Willow Creek with 30% of the vote. In the last broadcast with 19% of the vote.
Looks like we're doing a halfway to Christmas this year.
Mothman
Mothman.
Prophecies.
That's
Christmas
true.
in June.
Whoa.
I completely forgotten that aspect of the movie until you brought it up last week. Well, oh well.
It doesn't bother me at all, really. I haven't seen that movie in years, but I remember it scaring the piss out of me as a child.
Yeah,
I
I remember that too,
I
but
saw it in
I also
theaters, and
don't
that's
really
about it.
remember anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So we'll see if
That'll
that
be-
happens, though. There's still a chance for the other films. Let's not kill
Right.
our chickens just yet.
I know. People love to go buck wild on the last day of voting. So
Whoa.
we'll see.
They sure do.
But we might be going Mothman on your asses. Get your votes in before the end of the month. We'll see. In other Patreon news, we're dropping mini casts every other Friday. We just dropped one last Friday. Juice, you're talking about a new Shudder joint called You'll Never Find Me.
I
Good
was. Yeah, it's an Australian film. It is up on Shudder now. It came out late March, and it's a good one. It's a bottle movie. There's a lot of like kind of intense dialogue, but it's a very tense movie. And it if you listen to our review, this is something I said in my mini cast, but if you listen to our review on Barbarian, I feel like that movie kind of fleshes out in a way what the first half of Barbarian was like. So yeah, that's kind of um the ideas of the politeness and safety that sometimes is touched on in horror, and like what you should do in certain situations and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a good movie. I like it.
Right on. Very barbaric. Check it out over on Patreon.
Well,
In other Patreon news, this guy's not new, but just when he thought he was out, we brought him
we
back.
brought him back
Oh,
in.
We brought him back
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
We gotta
yeah.
give major shouts out to your boy Slatoski. Sign up on
Whoa.
Patreon and show us
Slatoski's
some love.
back.
Welcome back, brother.
Oh.
Welcome back to the fold.
It feels so good. As is tradition around these here parts, we owe Slatoski the straight chilling salute. This one goes out to you, brother.
Slap my ass.
Slap me
That's right.
in the ass.
Familiar. I like it.
Yes. I would
Yes.
I know that handprint anywhere.
I would like to touch on something. This is so we've mentioned this before, and I guess it has now gotten corrected or something, but essentially we just lost a channel on Spotify. So at one point,
yeah.
Spotify split our feed into two, and we had two completely identical channels available on Spotify. That was the only platform, I think. And
Yeah.
it had its own separate followers and reviews and everything like that. So if you listen to us on Spotify, it's possible that if you were following us or rated us there before, that's gone. So just kind of keep an eye out, I guess. If that's the platform you use, that's the platform I use. So I know. So I was like, well, it's gone. And then, like, all our reviews with it, and they just deleted it. So whatever.
You know, I really love the way they take care of
Yeah.
the
Right.
of the creators that keep them afloat. It's really great.
It was great. We
They pay
contacted,
us so well too.
Oh
we
my
contacted them
goodness,
years
yeah.
ago about that to see if they could merge the two.
Yeah.
And they're
they were
like, no, we can't.
"No."
But we can
No
delete one. And
enough
we're like,
cash.
we're like, well, don't delete it, because the people that follow that might
Won't
not know that
know.
there's another one. You know,
Yeah.
and like, if we say it on the show and it gets deleted, if they don't find it, they're not going to hear us say. So like, don't do that. And then it just happened anyway. So
They just did it now. So
And this is
yeah.
all moot to bring up anyway, because anybody who would listen
Well-
to us later
Figured
is
it
not
out,
hearing
yeah.
this probably.
Yeah.
But oh
Yeah,
well.
I mean,
Worth
I'm
a
sure
shot.
somebody listens to us regularly would maybe eventually catch on. But so I listened to us on Spotify. I didn't realize that was a thing until one of our listeners told us. I was like, oh shit, we do have two
Yeah.
profiles. So I wouldn't
Yeah.
have known. That's nuts.
I don't know how it happened, but it did. Anyway,
Yeah.
hopefully you guys figured it out and you're listening to this and it, provides
Yeah.
context.
Go check and see if your review's up there. If not, 5-star that bit.
Hit us again, please.
Yeah. Other
Cool.
than that, this week my house is clean.
Bob,
I
how's your house
too.
looking?
Pretty clean, man.
All right.
His house is clean.
All right. We're talking The Strangers, Chapter 1. Let's go ahead and kick it off with the back of the box.
What's on the back of the box?
Boys.
Bob, I saw you got that box ready to go.
Yeah,
You're on
you can't.
hand-drawn art behind the scenes, Bob.
Right there.
That's-
Sometimes you got to make your own blue.
The Not So Strangers, chapter 69.
That's
A
a
little
that's
cheeseburger on
a
there.
wet burger there, Mike.
That
It's-
ketchup.
It's leaking,
The first issue with this movie is they replaced the Bluebell with hamburgers. So I mean,
the-
that's just egregious.
With
Wrong.
hamburgers that have like Tim and Eric level sound effects and facial mess happening.
Jesus.
That
We'll-
is.
We'll get
We'll
there.
get into it. Yeah.
We gotta get there. We gotta get
Yeah, we gotta. We're talking The Strangers, Chapter 1. Brand new release is still in the theaters. Rated R with a runtime of 1 hour and 31 minutes. This was directed by Rennie Harlan. It's based on a story by Brian Bertino, who did write and direct the original Strangers movie, and I think he had a story credit on the Strangers sequel as well. This stars Madeline Petch, Ryan Bown, Mattis LeJack, a bunch of folks that I don't really recognize. Apparently, Madeline Pesh and Ryan Bound are both really well known for Riverdale. I think Madeline's in Riverdale. Ryan's is in something else, but they are known entities. I wasn't familiar with them though.
I am also
That
not
guy
familiar
looked
with them.
familiar. I actually haven't looked it up, but we'll see.
Yeah, and also about 10 to 15 seconds of a very silent Richard Brake is also in this.
Oh, that's right. I was like,
Oh, yeah.
I had this
Yeah.
moment where I was like, wait a minute, was this the movie with Richard Brake or was it that Yuma movie?
Yeah,
And it definitely was
both.
both somehow.
Yeah, both.
They
Both
just
in the
had him
diner, yeah.
across the set somewhere. So like, hey, you want to come over to our set for like 5 seconds?
Get in
Hey, you're
here.
a diner guy. Get in here.
You're a real
Um,
diner guy.
Plot synopsis brought to you by IMDb is as follows. After their car breaks down in an eerie small town, a young couple is forced to spend the night in a remote cabin. Panic ensues as they are terrorized by 3 masked strangers who strike with no mercy and seemingly no motive. Gentlemen, brand new release, first time watch. Would you boys recommend folks check out The Strangers Chapter 1? Randeezy, kick us off.
Boring.
Yeah. So no, I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't recommend it for theaters. I wouldn't recommend it in a hat. I wouldn't recommend it by a bat. I wouldn't recommend it in a train. I wouldn't recommend it somewhere that rhymes with
In
with
vain.
train. In vain, sure. Yeah, let's
There's
go with
like
that.
a million.
That was a
In
really
the
solid
rain.
riff. I mean, I feel good about that. We should all feel good about
Plane
it.
was a pretty easy reach there.
Yeah, sometimes the choke is right there. I got to go for that option every time.
For a second, I thought you wrote that out. I was like, "Damn, Randy prepared."
No, I didn't. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't nab Heidelberg style that way, and certainly not that ineptly.
Someone's not
I
an
wouldn't recommend
MC.
it.
I know.
That is true. That could not be more
Nerd.
true. Yeah, no, I wouldn't recommend this. Yeah, just like maybe to like general audiences who have no familiarity with the strangers would get something out of this, but otherwise, no.
Okay, Juice. What about you?
Bob, I would absolutely not recommend this film. This
No,
film
you
is-
had me. You had me going.
I know. I knew you thought I loved it. Bob, would you would you recommend people check this film out?
It is a resounding no from your boy Bob.
Oof.
All right. Hopefully everyone's just listening to this podcast instead of watching this film and enjoying the
Yes.
shit fest that we're about to get into.
Yes,
It's gonna
enjoy
be-
our kvetching, please.
Yes,
Let's-
please.
There's really, if you are familiar with the original movie, there is no spoilers in this.
Well,
conversation.
actually, I
We're
was
not-
gonna say that though. I guess if you haven't seen the original movie, we're definitely gonna spoil the original
Yeah,
movie.
it's like it's mostly a
You can't
copy paste.
But yeah, but also too, the
Yeah.
things that are different, I'm gonna bring up because
Oh yeah.
you got to.
Well, what else are you gonna talk
Yeah,
about?
well, exactly. What else are you
Strangers
fucking
from
gonna talk about
2008
this
or
shitty
whatever?
movie?
Yeah,
So
if
we're
if
we're
you
about to
haven't-
spoil 2008 as well.
that's fair.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's fair. If you haven't seen the original, might as well go watch it because it's pretty good.
Yeah.
And then
That's
listen to
worth
our
watching.
review.
If you
Recommend.
have watched this movie and not watched the original, please do yourself a favor.
go
Sorry.
enjoy a breath of fresh air by watching the original.
Go enjoy a breast of fresh air, please.
Fresh,
It's a little
fresh
nippy,
ass.
but it's great.
So yeah, we're gonna be spoiling some movies, and here comes your warning.
Spoiler warning.
Let's just review The Strangers 2008 again. I know we
We
did
kind of
that.
have to a little bit. but-
Kind of, yeah. Bob, oh, you got that plot synopsis?
Oh,
Oh, I got it.
Whoa, buddy. Oh my
Oh, I
god.
got it.
Whoa.
Oh.
All right. I guess give it to
No,
me.
I got it. I didn't
Remind
even
me,
need
I guess.
fucking Wikipedia for this.
Whoa, big man Bob over there.
Oh, they got
You
you have
brains on
access to
Bob.
Wikipedia?
What a great
Wikipedia?
memory he's
Wow.
got. Oh, yeah. Okay.
I'm so impressed by Bob. So, all right, here we go. Young couple Maya and Ryan drive across country to Oregon. Maya has a job interview. They've been dating for 5 years. He has not proposed. They are not married. They stop off at a diner at small town Oregon town called Venus. Everybody is super mean. Their car breaks down and they're forced to stay the night in an Airbnb in the middle of nowhere. Creepy girl appears at the door asking if Tamra is home. They say no, and she leaves. Ryan then takes a random motorcycle back to town to pick up his inhaler they left in the car. He also gets some
idiot.
He also gets some burgers. While he's gone, the creepy girl comes back. Maya gets super scared, so she gets high and takes a shower. She sees a girl in the house, and then Ryan returns and tells her she's seeing things just because of weed. They take burgers to the dome like they've never eaten before in their lives. Then they see a dead chicken hanging above the table. And then a masked man bursts through the door with an axe. They go for the motorcycle, but it explodes. They sneak through the crawl space and go to the shack next door. Ryan finds a shotgun and saves Maya. They hear noise on the porch, and Ryan shoots the property owner who comes to fix the refrigerator in the middle of the night. They take his truck and try to leave, but get rammed by a bigger truck. Ryan and Maya escape. Maya calls the cops, but has bad reception. Ryan finds one of the strangers and says he's gonna kill her. He also says apparently he's killed someone before. He gets knocked the fuck out because he does nothing. They both wake up tied to chairs in the cabin. Ryan proposes to Maya and she accepts. Ryan is then stabbed and kicked over. We assume that he bleeds out and dies on the floor of the cabin. Maya asks why they're doing this, and of course, famously, they reply, because you're here. Maya is then stabbed and kicked over as well. The strangers then leave as the cops arrive, and we finally see Maya still alive in a hospital bed, writhing around in pain. Roll them big, beautiful credits.
Also, that guy's next to her.
A stranger? Who was next to her?
The big guy.
The masked man?
Yeah.
Was he?
Dude,
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Oh.
Or
I didn't
maybe
notice
was-
it. Was
That's
it in
why
the
the
Xbox
whole.
or something?
That's why it said like right before to be continued.
Yeah. To
I
be
didn't see him,
continued.
but
Oh.
I didn't
sure.
see him either.
I wouldn't
Well.
doubt it.
It doesn't really matter or change anything.
It really
Whether
doesn't.
he was
It
there or
doesn't matter
not.
at all.
It doesn't make
You know-
it any more exciting.
No.
I think we could just talk about the 2008 Strangers if we want to, and I know we're going to, but really the review of this is going to have a lot of shocking, or at least one striking similarity to my critiques on Halloween Ends and Halloween, like just the Halloween reboot franchise, which
Randy.
Well,
is
hang on.
the name. Oh wait,
Go
you have
ahead.
Something.
Well, I was gonna say that it's funny that you mentioned that because I had a very familiar feeling watching this movie, and I was thinking back, and I was like, when did I feel exactly this way before? And it was Halloween Ends. It literally where if you go back and listen to us talking about that episode, Halloween Ends, I was watching this movie and I got about 30 minutes in and just thought it was a trick. I thought it was I couldn't believe my mind would not let me accept that it was real. It felt like I texted this to the squad. I was like, it feels like a fake movie that's in the background of a movie that's clearly supposed to be a spoof on The Strangers. Like that's what it
What are
felt
you
like to
selling?
me.
Yeah.
I couldn't accept that it was real, and I was like, I felt this way before, and I was like, Halloween Ends. I couldn't accept that this is what they were doing with it, and yeah. Sorry,
if-
go ahead, Randy.
No, yeah, and I mean, I'm sorry, Rob. Were you about to chime in?
Go for it.
Well, I think that there's, at least for me, I identified why I identified these movies together, and it's because this seems to be, and like really, the last sequel, I felt this way as well, and I complained about it there, the Pray at Night, which I was not as nearly as much of a fan of as I think the both of you were. I think you guys were a
honestly
little
can't
more.
remember.
I liked it.
I think
thought it was
Rob, you
a
were
fun
into
slasher.
it at least.
Yeah.
Justin, you might have been on my side. I can't remember, but
I can't either.
that's not good.
Uh,
Anyway, like I feel that making a sequel to the film The Strangers, in which the whole point is that it's a completely random and unknowable reason that somebody's killed you, is exactly what makes Michael Myers his most scary self.
Mhm.
And my biggest complaint with those movies is that the more you expound, the more you are required to fuck up. Like they put out so many red herrings in this fucking movie as if it's a murder mystery movie. But if you actually find out who the strangers are, then it defeats the whole goddamn purpose of the fucking movie.
I think we might find out who they are in the sequel.
I think
or
we
at
got
least
to. What else is the sequel about then?
there's so they shot all three of these movies at the exact same time. So there's a little bit of trivia in this, not a ton. They had, I believe, 52 days to shoot all three movies, and depending on the day, they might have been working on the first movie, and then the next day on the third, and the next day on the second, and like it was all over. I assume because of like locations and stuff like that are going to be reused. So they made all three at the exact same time, and I can't imagine the headache that would be. But this movie feels like the first act of a movie that was stretched the fuck out. It feels like, as I was watching it, similar to what you were sort of describing, it felt like an AI wrote this script. Like it was the most bland version of a slasher movie that encapsulated all of the very common poor choices made by protagonists and like all the silly tropes. And like, dude, the first 3 minutes of this movie, the guy is driving and he can't find his inhaler, and his girlfriend has to hand the inhaler, and I was like, here we go again. Here we fucking go again.
Dude, how 3 weeks in a
off his
row
inhaler.
have
The
we been
inhaler,
doing this
man.
fucking inhaler,
And
dude? Ever
the-
since
the
you
inhaler-
That's
mentioned
gonna be
it.
merch.
The inhaler is a recurring character in this movie. It comes back. It's three
No.
scenes are all about the fucking inhaler. 3 of them.
I think saying that it's a character.
Couldn't believe it.
Well, I was gonna say it's saying it's a real character is a disservice to the actors, but I don't know.
Is it?
It's I don't know that it is actually.
know.
But I will say that, like, yeah,
That's-
it's more of a MacGuffin, technically speaking, where it's just like, but it's repeatedly used. It's like it's the
Yeah.
Maltese fucking Falcon, but it's just this dude's inhaler, and it's just a means to split them up twice, if not 3 times. Like the first time it's brought up to establish it, twice it's
Yeah.
used to separate the two, and it's like,
Yeah.
fuck this, man.
I
Like, fuck
couldn't
this.
believe that it kept coming up, dude. I couldn't fucking believe it. There's and the actors, like, I'm sure they're capable, even though I haven't really seen them in anything else. But in this movie here, I feel like there's a profound lack of chemistry between them. The whole, like, they haven't proposed and they're a little upset and they propose at the end. It's supposed to be, pulling your heartstrings, obviously. And, like, it did not work for me. It didn't land. It felt very hollow.
I agree.
Yeah, this movie feel like you could have told me that this was the first effective, like, deep fake movie, like AI generated movie, and I
Totally.
could accept that. My brain could
Yeah.
accept that.
Now,
Yes.
I do. Sorry. I do want to offer some grace to Rennie Harlan here. Like, I'm not his biggest fan by any means. I've seen a few of his movies. Deep Blue Sea doesn't hit me the same way it does some people.
I love it.
Die Hard 2, I like a little better than some people, just because it's like passive enjoyment for me. But yeah, like the constraints that he was put under in this were not favorable, and I can understand
Yeah.
like dropping the ball in a few ways. It does not at all make up for anything, and it definitely doesn't explain every decision that was made. Primarily the first and foremost being like, why remake this? Why remake it so closely? Why make it into a trilogy and completely undercut the very concept that made it scary in the first place? Why do those things? But once you get past that and you're given like the time constraints, the budget or whatever, like I am willing to offer a little bit of grace there, because that's not an easy thing to do. 3 fucking movies at once. It's a challenge. It's a real challenge, and I give them credit for attempting to make that work. It doesn't. It does not. And
I do-
That's the real issue.
I'm gonna shit all over this movie, but I do have a certain level of respect for Rennie Harlan's other movies. There's a lot of them that I do really enjoy and appreciate. He's obviously like made a name for himself, and he is talented. This movie just fucking sucks. So yeah,
This,
disclaimer, I guess.
This I don't mean to be so dramatic. I'm not, but the thing about it is, like, when I was watching this movie and just thinking about this idea, I honestly, this movie and its success, because you're like, oh, it's one of the biggest, so we might as well cover it.
It is.
It's serious. Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
It's the biggest straight ahead horror movie opening weekend of the year so far, which excludes
Jesus
like
Christ.
Ghostbusters and things like that.
Yeah.
But it made, I think, 12 million opening weekend, which just edged out the Night Swim movie, and it's now sitting at 24 million overall. So it's doing pretty good. Its budget was 8 million, so it's doing pretty good.
Like, honestly, this movie to me in my mind is like, what is fucking wrong with the fucking world? Like, it is the lowest common denominator, non-thought, eat this shit and love it type of late capitalism attitude that is so fucked and just shits all over everything. It's such bullshit. It's how is this the number one movie? Why is even okay giving this man grace? Like, I don't even want to do those things because even like saying, oh, the original writer like signed on to this. Why did he
Yeah.
fucking do that? Why did
Just
somebody
it,
agree to make
flames on the side of my face.
why
I
did
think
someone
it's
agree to make 3 movies in 52 days? Why? This movie
money.
should not exist. People should not pay to watch it. It should not be the number one film. This should be some kind of like restricted crime for media to replicate something like this. It's like it's unacceptable to do something like this.
It was originally, so I think the first draft of the screenplay was something like 300 pages. It was very, very long. And I think when Rennie Harlan got it,
The
he was
remake
like,
was 300 pages.
yeah, it was supposed to, all three movies were
Oh,
like
okay, for three
one,
movies.
one
Okay.
Okay,
script.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say
one,
like,
I
well, no
was
wonder
like,
it was 3 fucking movies if they couldn't
how?
bring
It just used
300
the original
pages.
script. I don't even
there was,
understand.
well, I mean, I guess in the next two they're going to do a lot more, but there was so much there that they decided to split up in three movies, and that's how it all started, I guess. So I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. I know that I don't. I get the sense. So the diner scene where everybody is basically being a huge piece of shit to these people is like very much a stereotypical horror movie thing where like strangers roll into town and it's full of bunkin rude rednecks and stuff. But it was like to a level that was unbelievable, which is where that AI thing kicks in, where it's like copy paste all these other tropes that have happened in millions of other movies, but doing it to a level that it's like you don't really understand why that's there or why that would potentially work. You're just doing it because people do it. But I think after watching the end of this movie and then considering there's going to be a 2 and a 3, I wonder if there's going to be a larger like cult aspect where those people might actually
Yes.
be in on it or something
Ah,
like
the
that.
Cult of
There-
Thorn.
Which
Yes,
is
that
not
was the
interesting.
most
Like,
successful
the
twist.
The Strangers is the name of their
Strangers.
cult, of course.
We're
and,
so strange. Here's
strange.
Or
Or
movies
even
about
just
us.
every decision is garbage.
Yes.
Any change, open like them having the diner scene,
Justin being completely flabbergasted.
it
is
makes
killing me.
it worse because the whole point is not, it's random. They're
Yeah.
even in the
That's the point.
original one, they're in a familiar place. It's like his family's cabin or something, and he's taken her there because that he was planning to like be engaged or whatever the original. But it's a familiar place. They feel safe there. They feel comfortable there. Putting it in this spot, it undercuts anything. It undercuts
Yeah.
the whole idea or feeling
Mhm.
of the original film. Why would you do this?
Well, everything about the original film is so like I rewatched the original film immediately after watching this
You
one.
lucky
Like,
bastard.
I know.
Well, Beck and I were both like, let's do a straight ahead comparison, and like it was a passive watch. I've seen the original Strangers
Sure.
probably 7 times, so it's not new. Like that's another thing. Is like this movie already had an uphill battle to climb, uphill climb, because it's so familiar and because it's a remake, mostly straight ahead remake. So like it already had that problem. But like it's so, you're right. Like every new decision they make, the fact that that this isn't a familiar place, it just has to be remote. That makes it seem like it's more of a sequel to Wrong Turn or one
Yeah.
of the dozens of other movies like that. And as far as Rob, you were talking about like the diner scene where everybody hates them and everybody's like bumpkiny and like shitty to them
Yeah.
or whatever. I like that's been done so much that it was being lampooned by like Cabin Fever in like 2001. Like before that, probably in something I'm not even
In the
thinking of.
80s, they were even
Well,
like
it's-
already
Yeah, okay,
making
yeah.
fun of it.
Motel Hell was kind of doing that.
Yeah.
Oh no, did they do that? They didn't do exactly that, but they did more of a wrong turn sort of thing, and we're parodying it.
Well, it's
so
no, it's such a trope that like we've had comedies of it now. Fucking
Yeah.
Tucker and Dale
and Dale,
have
yeah.
made you can't do
you can if you do it well, but they
it's
don't.
so
They don't do it
done.
well.
They don't do it well.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
'Cause I hope he didn't order the turkey melt. He did.
He did order that. Even that
Dude.
opening scene is garbage. Like, why are you gonna
guy
do that?
being
Yeah,
chased.
the
Yeah,
guy
it
being
al- it-
chased.
It opens up with like
I
stats on like
completely forgot
violent
about that, man.
crimes in America, and you're like, okay, spooky ooky. Then this is one of the worst ones that has ever happened. And then you
Now-
see a guy run through the woods getting killed or whatever.
In
There
fairness,
was-
that was also like they did an intro thing like that, kind of like
Yeah.
that in the original. It was very basic though, and it like for some reason the phrasing that they did in the new one like bothered me because it's like this is one of the most brutal. And just
Yeah, it's
watching
like an
it, I've
AI
seen- every
wrote
true
it.
crime I've ever seen has been more brutal than this. Like every single
Yeah.
one of them.
The strangers fucking suck in this. They don't really do anything. They're not very capable.
Dude.
They're not like cunning. They don't have like bright ideas. They just kind of run around, and they have that like Jason Voorhees like magical ability to
Right.
just like pop up out of fucking nowhere. Sometimes in a very large truck that would make a lot of fucking noise. It's just like boom, magically
truck,
fucking
dude.
there.
Or like the
it's
exploding the
terrible.
motorcycle. Like exploding the
Yeah.
motorcycle. This man is
Yeah,
like
how the fuck did that
5 feet
happen?
away in front of you behind the motorcycle, and you don't see him light the flame that has to then trail
Yeah,
up
throw
and
the
vanish.
match. Yeah, It
Dude,
just
when-
Like
happens.
nothing.
The
nothing.
perspective in this movie, when they go into the shed to get the shotgun, that bitch is standing like right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
They do this like
keep
jump
doing that
little
shit
scare, and I
constantly.
was like, how would you
Mhm.
not see a person? He's standing.
They're
right
trying
there.
to do.
I know what they're
did
trying to
very,
do.
very well. Yeah,
They
There's,
keep
like-
they keep doing it over and over where they're
They
like, oh,
do.
he's in the room and they don't see him. Oh my god. But that
That's
worked like twice
Fine,
and it was
yeah.
dead silent and tense. This is not that ever. Like no, at no point do I feel tense in this movie.
Dude.
Bob, I cut you
they
off.
had
Go
a,
ahead.
they had a jump scare where the garbage disposal just turns itself on for no reason. There was
That's
a
right.
garbage disposal scare. Like
Dude,
this
also,
scene,
oh,
the scariest scene in this movie to me was watching the main dude fucking take that cheeseburger to the fucking face. The way he eats that burger is disgusting.
It is. It's like it's the custard scene, man. It's like,
Dude, you're right. it
there's
is.
so
The
much
ketchup is
connective tissue there.
ridiculous.
It's like a greasy strangler scene. It's very fucking
It
weird.
is, dude.
Like,
It fucking totally
like
is.
I understand like Joe, like if they had chemistry and it was like a
Ugh.
little more subdued, it would be maybe not noteworthy anyway, but it's so repulsive. It's so fucking repulsive to watch. And I understand that they wanted to get the dripping, but the only way they can make that happen is by making this man not just like wolf down a burger, but also just like completely.
Yeah,
And I'm not kidding. It's like an Eric Andre show segment. It's just covered in shit.
it is. You gotta have the blood drip on his burger, and then he takes a bite out of it, and then realizes that it's not ketchup, it's blood. And he looks up. Like that's how you make the scare work, and they just don't do that.
I don't even know if it would work then, but yeah, like it would work
I
better.
think make it a lot better.
I want
the
to say
girl-
this.
Go,
Oh, sorry,
yeah,
you
go
go
ahead.
ahead. Okay, so like you were talking about how the strangers suck. I want to point
Mhm.
out 2 instances that really made me just like it made me curdle inside. I was just like, oh my god. Like, so one is when the Tamra girl or whatever is standing far away and the guy just walks up and like, hey, what's up? And she just kind of scampers off like a fucking ridiculous little like I don't know, it was fucking Naruto run away. Like it's hilarious to me. And then the other one is when he has the brunette girl at gunpoint and she does this
Yeah.
fucking weird like butterfly thing and then does like a Joker Harley Quinn laugh. And I'm like, that's not what this fucking is. These are silent motherfuckers that only ever say 1 or 2
Yeah.
cryptic things. That's what makes it work. You don't know anything. Now I see that she's just a fucking blithering mental patient and that's that. Like, I don't
Mhm.
know, man.
I hated
And
that
also-
scene where the dude's like, they say their first kill is the hardest. Well, you're not my first. It's like, What is it? But he still doesn't do anything. Like, why say
Yeah,
that?
when you just be blasting.
Yeah, if it's so
I-
fucking easy.
Like like I can understand him being like, "Where
Well,
is she?"
Bob,
And
so
then like
he
after
killed
the
the other
second time you
guy.
ask,
Did he
yeah.
kill another guy? Damn,
No,
God, it's fucking-
he killed the
The
landlord.
owner.
Oh, yeah,
That's who he's.
That's his first
Yeah,
kill.
that's his kill.
That's his
You
first
seem
kill
so
was an
confused.
accidental
Oh
homicide.
my
Yeah.
god, dude!
Um,
I said
So
that
he's
and then
already over
forgot.
the shock of
Oh
killing
god,
somebody.
that's so.
Well, he just wants to sound
stupid.
badass. They just want there to be a badass
Oh
line there
my
so
Dude,
bad,
I'd be
He was
and it's
so
blasted.
not,
torn up.
especially
He was
because he
so torn
can't
up.
do it. He can't do the one thing. He
Unbelievable.
can blow the shit out of the fucking landlord without even looking closely enough to see who it is. But this woman who like will not answer his questions about where his wife or his girlfriend
Yeah.
is, that like that is just like fucking with him clearly and laughing in his face. You have already killed somebody. You might as well protect yourself now instead of just sitting there
Yeah.
waiting for one of the other two motherfuckers to come around and hit you in the back. They've shown that they can just sneak up on you. You suck at noticing that. So why on earth would you not just like say, where's my spouse, or where's my whatever, where's what's her name, and or just be like, and
I don't know why
right
he,
in the fucking head.
the bigger truck that they like smashed into his truck. The baghead guy gets out and leaves it running, and like he doesn't
Yeah.
get in it.
I said that
He
too.
runs
Yeah, I
away.
was like, it's running. It's on
Get
you,
in it.
and you're hurt. Your
Right.
leg just got smashed to shit by a fucking truck.
Also,
why are you not gonna get in the truck?
He's
the guy
an
is like
idiot.
right next to you, going backwards and forwards and
Yeah.
hitting you over and over again, and
have
you
a
have a
shotgun.
shotgun in your
Use it.
hand.
Also, didn't he shoot a one time? Okay. Oh my god, dude. He has a shotgun, and they grab her head through the window, and he shoots with the shotgun
Yeah,
at the.
At
I
her.
was like, her head would be
It would be
gone.
fucked. Yeah.
he's very lucky he didn't kill his fucking spouse or his.
Yeah, no,
What's
she
her
would
face
be
thing?
dead. She would be dead. And then it just, and how much, like the decision, okay, the original, you have a gun too, and you kill fucking
Mhm.
Dennis.
Dennis.
And that's such an
Yep.
amazing scene because of
Yeah.
how it's set up. In this one, it doesn't mean anything because you don't even know who this person is.
He
I
is
would
an
say, like,
actual stranger.
Yeah.
By comparison, it sucks. It sucks a lot. I will say, like,
garbage.
accidentally shooting an innocent person would still fuck me up. I think that's still like at
Sure.
least there's some fertile ground there that you.
But it
could
doesn't really
use,
fuck
but
him
they
up.
don't. It doesn't.
He's a little broken up
He turns
about
on
it.
it. Then
for a
he was
second.
for like a second. Then he's like, "Oh, the car. Let's go get in the car."
Yeah.
And then they get
Yeah.
crushed. And then he doesn't drive away multiple times. And somehow that same car gets driven away by these same people, despite being fucking rammed into another fucking Jeep
So,
over and
I
over.
couldn't believe that dude would come over in the middle of the night to fix a refrigerator for these folks. I just
Right.
don't see it happening.
And also,
Unless he's a bad guy too.
so the distance that he's standing from the edge of the house to where he shoots that man is probably more distance than when
Oh,
he's
yeah.
standing and shoots at the fucking window at
Mhm.
his girlfriend's fucking head.
It's at least the same, if not more. You know, like
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
he got
what
better
the
at shot. He's a better
fuck
shot.
is- Oh
Yeah.
my god, dude. Actually,
So,
no,
yeah.
the first one, oh whatever. It's so fucking
Well, yeah, he hits the wall.
Well, it'd be
When
more
this-
precise to shoot in the direction of your girlfriend with the shotgun and not hit her.
It would be. When this dude
Yeah.
leaves town or leaves to go back to town to get burgers and his inhaler, and the girl is like alone, they like kind of start to build tension, but it's undercut by everything she decides to do while she's being scared.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't fortify the house. She doesn't like barricade a door, lock a window, call the cops. She calls the cops way too late. Way
It
too
takes-
late in the movie. Instead, she like plays piano and gets high, puts on a record, takes a shower. She's on fucking proper vacation. She's not doing anything, and it just like it's so enraging to watch. Like we've seen so many horror movies. Even if you're not nerds like us, like you get a knife you
These,
know,
yeah.
put a dresser in front of a door. You do
Also,
something.
Anybody
their
who has
attitude.
experienced-
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Anybody who's experienced not even a horror movie, but just like fucking parodies of horror, like anybody who has ever
Yeah.
thought, what do I do if I realize somebody's in the house, or I think somebody's in the house? The first thing you do, and the first thing that Liv Tyler does in the fucking Strangers in the 2008, is grab a fucking big ass knife, grabs a weapon. It takes this movie more than halfway through before anybody even
Yeah.
says, and they say it first, of course, because you have to say it. We better get a weapon. Like, fucking dude comes back, he's like, we need to get a weapon. Like, no shit. You've been terrorized for like upwards of 2 hours now. What are you talking about?
No, that's
And you can't
okay.
find a blunt instrument or a knife or anything? Like,
So these people make no sense. The guy has the attitude. These people are ripping us off. Oh, you fucked with my car. Oh, you didn't do this thing. And the first thing he does when he comes back and she says there's somebody in the house is call her like a stupid fucking bitch and she's crazy.
Like,
verbatim.
he's like, oh, you're just high.
You're just a
just-
dumb
you're just a
fucking bitch.
stupid
Shut the
bitch."
fuck up and
He said
like
that.
make me a
direct-
Sammy
direct-
or so.
As a direct quote, actually.
Also,
Oh,
too,
boy.
this town, didn't they like say it had like 400 people in it, right?
Yeah, so something
Or
like that. yeah.
something, yeah.
Where the fuck did that hamburger come from? There is nowhere where that like, will you think there's a
He got
fucking
it at that truck.
McDonald's?
Yeah, he went to like a trailer.
He went to
it
a
was like a
food
food truck. Yeah.
Oh,
people were
did
shitty to
I
him
totally
again.
like, oh, maybe I
Yeah.
like blocked that out. No,
He
I
had
don't
a
know.
He must have,
conversation.
because there's a whole segment
Maybe
where
I
he
should
gets, it's just
probably
the
check
diner scene part 2,
Checking my
except
phone.
he's
So there's
yeah.
a food truck in this town of 400 people?
I mean, that's not that unbelievable that there's like 1 or 2 spots that people go at night. Like, I think that that's possible. I've like stayed in small areas, and usually there's at least a bar that'll have some food available.
Yeah.
Stop bragging, Randy. Damn.
I mean, it's just true.
All right, I was
so
checking
that
my
didn't-
phone then.
But the waitress, the younger mechanic, and the 2 people that were just married also, I think, were there, and they gave what's his dick a hard time. And it's like, oh, let's come. And the guy's trying to be like,
yeah.
he's trying to be nice about it. He's like, yeah, hey, how's it going? Yeah, I met you earlier. And I think he's trying not to be a dickhead again, which I guess he learned his lesson. I don't fucking know why, but he just like acts pretty differently towards everybody now. And he walks up and says, oh, yeah. And she's like, oh, have a beer with us then. If you want to hang out, that'd be great. And he's like, oh, sorry, I got to go. You know, maybe next time, whatever. And then as he's walking away, like, fucking dude thinks he's too good for us and shit like that. And then the people in the fucking food truck also like don't say one word to him when he orders. It's like fucking ridiculous. People really resent the vegetarian thing in there, and it seems like an easy thing to make people seem like rubes because they just don't give a shit about your vegetarianism.
There was also like some conversation in the diner about them having dated for 5 years and not getting married, and like the waitress
yeah,
very loudly is like, well, what are you waiting for? And he's like, well, right now my tuna melt, or ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
But it's like a very personal question to loudly ask, and when they're doing that, they keep cutting to Richard Brake. And he's like looking over his shoulder, like in a kind of disappointed way or what. Like, I don't know. That character is definitely going to come back. And I wonder if them like being out of wedlock or something is going to have anything at all to do with it. Or maybe I'm reading too much into it. But
no,
also,
I don't think so at all.
Another like little teaser moment they have in this is when they're going through looking for a weapon. I think finally they look in a closet and there's a bunch of masks in there. Do you guys remember that? Like goofy
And
Halloween
they never
masks.
talk about it again.
Yeah. Ah, it's a cult, man. It's a shitty cult.
It's
So
a fucking
stupid.
shitty cult, and it's like this is the thing. This is all I think built out of the original movie where they had the 2 kids handing out Christian literature right at the end.
Yeah,
like they're the ones who
yeah.
find the bodies. That is their only role. They get kind of menaced by the strangers on their way away from the crime scene, but in a way that didn't seem menacing to them or seemed like just sort of iffy to these kids. And then they find Liv Tyler's body, and that's that.
Yeah.
They built the entire town around this idea. It's clear because the lady in the food truck also tries to give him literature.
Yeah.
The same
yeah,
literature.
she does.
So
Oh,
it's very
God.
clear what they're setting up. And I think like I thought this from the moment I saw the trailer. I was like, well, the key difference in this is going to be the Liv Tyler character is going to live, and she's going to be inducted into this.
Well,
this
she
crew at some
lives,
point.
well, maybe lives in the first one too, doesn't she? Don't they find her body and she like wakes up or something or
No, I don't.
No?
I don't think so. No,
No,
I
okay,
remember.
maybe not. Okay, maybe not.
No, she
I didn't
doesn't. And, like,
rewatch the original.
she does make a 911 call, but like I think she's dead by the time the kids find
Okay,
her because
gotcha.
they don't know where she is. She doesn't have an address.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know, man. Like it just like I think that they just remade this one rather than make like a sequel strictly to create a new Scream Queen. That's their goal, is to make a Laurie Strode out of this character
Dude.
who's going to
ugh.
survive, who's gonna eventually like be either like, and I
Yeah.
think that they're gonna try and undercut that in the third one by having her eventually join the clan, or well, join this group
Damn,
of
Randy.
strangers. Maybe it is the clan. We don't know. Like,
We
you know,
don't,
that would be
yeah.
very on the nose, and this movie's nothing if not on the nose. So
Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know. I think she's also going to struggle a lot with survivor's guilt because she was already talking about how like they went out there for her job interview, so she
Yeah.
felt guilty, dragging him along and stuff. So like I think they're going to deal with a lot of that, and maybe the cults will manipulate her into maybe joining. I don't know. And then the third one, she'll like snap out of it and kill them all, or
Even,
the
even just
strangers
any
any
version of that
ends.
sucks.
the
Like,
to be
is it-
continued at the end just feels like the cheapest piece of shit. And God, this whole idea, a trilogy of this movie, it's like the same thing. It's the same shit of, we bought the rights to The Exorcist, we're gonna make this trilogy. Well, this first movie is the biggest piece of shit garbage I've ever seen, and I don't want a trilogy. Well, we're fucked and we're gonna put it out anyways. Well, fuck you. Like,
now
that's
they
what I'm
better
talking
put it
about, the
out.
whole like, yes, late stage capitalism thing. It's like, I don't know, man. It's like getting a roll of Oreos and finding out there's like only 2 in there or something. It's like there's just like they're just fucking you. Like, this is the biggest piece of garbage ripoff shit I've ever seen. It's
Is
such
that all, stranger?
such bullshit. It's such garbage.
Maybe-
It's such
Maybe
garbage.
the next 2 movies are going to be fucking great.
If they completely subvert all of the like hyper expected
no
shit
way.
that they did in this movie, then maybe. But like the thing is, like I don't think there's a way to. I don't think there's a way
Impossible.
back. I really don't think so. And it's like everything else set aside, the core conceit of this movie depends on the unknowability of the strangers. That is what it is built on. That is the foundation of the fear. And if they start exploring who it might be and why they do things, that fucking undoes everything.
I like how
It's-
what a solid laugh that suggestion got.
we
Like-
can't you know what, I've learned my lesson now. We've gone through, it's almost here now. It's been almost 10 years where we've been going through this process, a fucking decade. We said the same
Yeah.
shit about Halloween. Maybe the next one will be good, maybe they'll wrap it up well, maybe it'll be capable, and then we get this fucking
It just keeps
And
getting
then-
worse.
Well, that-
yeah,
and
well, hang
worse.
on. And then we get this fucking trilogy of The Exorcist, and we're like,
Yeah.
well, maybe it'll be good. It's not. It's not good
Oh, no,
because
no, no.
it's good is not. It's literally just money. It's just fucking cheap dollar signs. So that's why it's impossible.
Make your
especially,
money, whore.
I know it's not going to be good because what you just said is they shot this together. The acting is going to be just as garbage. If you're acting this way on day 1 and then you shoot a scene for movie 2 on day 2, then it's going to be the same, and it's terrible. The acting, it doesn't feel like real people. I would believe it's fake. I would
Hallmark.
believe it. It's
The
garbage.
acting, because the writing, and I don't know how much of it is due to the acting because I don't know these actors outside of this movie, but the
Yeah.
writing makes them into a Hallmark
Sure.
movie. That's the
Yeah.
level of performance.
Everything
we're
they do is
receiving.
stupid.
Yeah, the thing is, even if they didn't make the changes, if they did a fucking Psycho remake and this was the same movie with the same scenes, it would still be garbage because the acting and just the structure it's so inferior in every fucking way. But I'm talking about this feeling like a movie that was stretched out thin. There are at least 3 scenes I can think of where nothing happens for like 10 minutes when they're crawling under the house, and they like do the nail thing, and she's like trying
Hey,
not
now
to
there was a rat. That happened.
Dude,
dude,
the spooky rat.
the
Oh my
rat,
god.
it didn't do
Ah.
anything. It was
didn't.
just
The
on
way-
his shoulder,
You
and
know-
he got slightly spooked.
Yeah.
Then she puts her hand in the nail. She doesn't scream, and nothing, and they crawl out the other side.
Well, it's trying to build tension with the
It's
person
not
above
trying.
them, but it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. I don't know how
This
or
movie
why, but it doesn't
sucks
work.
at building tension. It kind of starts to percolate when dumbass goes to get cheeseburgers. It like kind of starts to get there when the girl's alone.
Except
But
she's
then
being so
everything
stupid.
she does, yeah, it sucks all the tension out of the room because you're like, well, this is a fucking idiot. Like she deserves to die at this point. Fuck it. Like,
It
why-
Yeah, it's
reminded
not
me of-
believable at all.
It
yeah.
reminded me of Cabin in the Woods when what's his name, the stoner guy. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he's
Marty,
like hearing the voice.
Franz,
Marty's like hearing the
Franz.
voices.
Marty,
and he's
yeah.
like, Marty's all like it's like, go for a walk. I'm gonna go for a walk. Is what
Yeah.
it's whispering, and he's like, I don't have to put up with this. This is not real.
Yeah.
I'm going for a walk. That's what she was doing this whole fucking
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that has
yeah,
been
yeah,
taken.
yeah.
That whole like it's by numbers predictability. I will give them some credit if they do anything at all that surprises me in the next ones, even if it sucks out loud. That's like, okay, at least you did something. Cult of Thorn is so like, I don't know, everything every shot was callable. Everything that happened in this movie was expected. Nothing was new, and except for the things that are leading into sequels that are going to ultimately fuck up the concept no matter what they try and do with it. So
Yeah.
surprise me, make it fucking wackadoo as shit, make it stupid. I would love that. Make it literally
they're not
that,
gonna. They're
Are they,
Stab
no,
seven.
they're not.
Like,
Is this the one? Are they all supposed to come out this year?
So
Yes.
I don't think so. The
No?
thing that I saw most recently was, well, no other dates have actually been announced. So who the fuck really knows? Nobody.
Okay.
But they were assuming the fall would be the release of part 2, I assume for Halloween, and then part 3 would be like first quarter next year. But I don't know.
Collider
This
says
this
fall
doing
2024.
well, so
I do not want to
Yeah.
commit to see. People don't pay to go see number 2, because if you do, it's just their studios are just gonna keep doing this shit. Like
they're
the
going
fact
to
that
anyway.
people are no, I mean they need to fucking fail. Like I'm so glad that The Exorcist did so bad, right? Didn't it just like not
It did
make
very,
its
very poorly,
money
yeah.
bad? Thank
it
God.
didn't make enough money, and
Because those
everybody
people
shat on
need to
it.
get kicked in the nuts in a metaphorical sense, which is their wallets. Like, don't go
think-
see these movies. Don't pay, steal it. Just steal it.
Yeah,
Here's the
honestly,
thing.
just don't watch it. Watch the first
Or
one.
yeah, just don't
Or
watch
even
Watch
it.
the first one,
sequel. Even the sequel is way, way more entertaining than this.
I mean,
It's
at
more
least
capable.
that has a style. I didn't
Yeah.
like what they did with it. It felt very different and in a bad way to me from the
I liked
original.
it.
And it was doing again like a sequel is only going to give you more information, and more information means less scary to me in this
Sure.
movie.
Or
so
you're
like
just
I
that
going
think
over
it
the
really-
same path.
I don't think it really
Huh?
did give any more information. Not that I can recall, anyways. It's been a while.
Well, the only thing that could happen is they reveal more, like, or they do this,
Eventually,
like
yeah.
Justin said, they do the same shit that they did before,
Yeah.
and that's it. Like, I don't really see it. I don't see what's scary about that. I liked the color palette in a different movie. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like the
Hmm.
things that they added could be just a different movie, and I would
Yeah.
be fine with it. But anyway, that's we're not here to talk about that movie certainly. But like, I don't know, like this. The thing is, like, you're talking about these trilogies, and it's right. Like, there's a fucked up, weird obsession, not just in horror, but like industry wide with making trilogies, like the fucking Hobbit trilogy that turned into a
Yeah.
quadrilogy, and the fucking like just adding more sequel.
Yeah,
Sequel.
what is the
Fuck
why?
that,
Why?
man.
Why do they do that?
Because
Like,
they-
is there some financial benefit to doing that?
Not usually, but they
I don't
trick
know.
themselves into thinking there is, because every franchise, $1 billion, usually starts with a small series of films.
Yeah.
Traditional, like
Oh.
a trilogy, like those, like that has made money before, and the only thing that Hollywood is going with is what they consider safe bets. Well, it's not a safe bet, and I don't know why they think it is, but they keep trying it anyway. The Exorcist, like, this is what's interesting. Like, the Halloween remakes or whatever. That first one, debatably good, bad, whatever. I felt like I had a good time watching that movie. The second one, I enjoyed a lot about that movie. The ending fucking missed me hard. And then I was hopeful that they would course correct to something at least acceptable for ends, and they didn't do that. That was the best case scenario for making a trilogy of Halloween. Again, another movie based on the unknowability of evil. Like,
Did they also
then-
too, when they did the new Scream, did they also commit to a trilogy? Was that like the whole thing? No. Okay.
No, they didn't. They were clearly gonna
those ones that come out one
keep
at a
churning
time.
them
usually.
out, but they,
Yeah.
they didn't.
Okay.
They
Not
always
yet
wait to see how
anyways.
that one does, I think.
Yeah.
But then you
think,
get-
I think this
Sorry.
was largely. I mean, I don't know. It seems like the idea to make this a trilogy was partly because the original script was so long. Like nobody wants to watch a 3-hour Strangers movie. I don't want to anyway. So I don't know if they were going to give them, say, 20 days to shoot one movie. Instead, they give them 50 days to shoot 3, and they get sort of 3 bites at the box office instead of 1. And like financially, maybe that's a safer bet overall. But it's always a gamble. I don't know. Maybe that's why.
I feel like
we'll
maybe
see.
the fact that they film them all at once, I think factors into this decision in particular, because
Totally,
I think
yeah.
that does save budget to do that. Like to
Yeah,
like,
that makes sense.
in a movie like this on this scale, like you don't have to go back out there. You don't have to fly people out a second time. You don't have to do any of that shit. It's cutting prices, and it's based on it's a roll of the dice on the studio's part, but they see it as a safer bet because for them, I guess the worst thing that could happen is, oh no, this movie's successful enough to warrant a sequel. Gosh, we have to get everybody back out
Yeah.
again, and
Yeah,
schedule everybody.
yeah.
And that's somehow worse. I don't think so, but for some reason,
Mm.
studios do. They just keep doing shit
You
like
know,
this.
The only person that can really pull this off so far is Ty West. The man can do it.
Wow.
It's like the one, and that wasn't a trilogy outright. It just
Zemeckis, I would argue.
kind of became one. Well, yeah, I guess that's true too, because they did 2 and 3, Back to the Future 2 and 3 at the
God, I
same
can't
time.
wait
Yeah.
for Maxine to come out now.
Yeah, I know, dude. Same. We got so. I mean, this is the Boo Boo movie. We obviously don't like it, but there's a lot of horror heat coming down the pipeline in the next 2 or 3 months. A
Thank
lot of
God.
good shit,
Heading
many
into spooky
trilogies?
season. Woo.
and then spooky season. Yeah, we got
And best season. Whoa.
best
True,
season.
yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna see
Festival season.
so many
Festival.
fucking movies.
We're about
It's
to
gonna
watch
be-
1 million horror movies.
I know.
That's right.
I mean, I think we said everything there was to say about this. Let's go and rate it. If there's anything else you guys want to mention, obviously do it. Juice, kick us off. Out of 5, how do you feel?
Not good, Bob. I don't feel good at all.
shame!
I don't feel good at all, Bob. This movie shouldn't exist. It shouldn't have existed in the first place. It damn sure shouldn't be a fucking trilogy. It's not that old. There's nothing about the original film that came out in 2008 that hinders anyone from enjoying it today on a first time watch. There's no big technology difference. It just this it's so fucking stupid. Every decision that's made in this is significantly worse. From the decisions, the writing, the acting is wooden, the cinematography is not good. The scenes just go on and they don't do anything, and there's no tension. And I don't care about these characters. I feel nothing at the end of this film except relief that it's done, that I don't have to watch it anymore.
Oh,
That
thank
is
God.
the number one emotion. And then number 2 is frustration. And then number 3 is piercing anger.
God damn.
Hell yeah, cinema.
So that's what now I will give one positive for this movie is I thought the way the music was kind of used in this was by far the best aspect of this movie. That's it. The best element was the way the music was utilized, the piano and the records. That's it.
Cool.
5
stars.
Other than that, I fucking hated this. I hated
4
it.
and a half.
And I had that same feeling of like someone is pulling a joke on me. This can't be real. I can't, my brain wouldn't accept that reality that this
Man.
is the number one horror movie of the year, 2024. It's so baffling and unacceptable. It's fucking just corporate bullshit greed. It's so terrible. Half star. Fuck this movie. Fuck this
It's
idea.
almost.
Fuck this studio. Fuck everyone involved. Lick a poopy butthole. Bob,
Damn.
That's-
out of 5.
Hi.
Unless you like
Yeah.
that kind of thing, in which case, do something you
Then-
don't like.
Then don't lick it. Just look at it and long for it.
Bob.
You pieces of shit.
Bob,
this-
out of 5.
Yeah, this movie is not good. I would say The Strangers, I would consider it a modern day classic. I think a lot of people know about it. A lot of people have watched it. Those masks have kind of become iconic. I think they've done it at like Halloween Horror Nights and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like kind of a known thing. I even think they were like riffed on in A Cabin in the Woods, if I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
they were. They were.
So they're kind of a known entity now. So if you're gonna remake what I would call like a modern day classic, I think you really gotta have a good reason to do it. This first movie definitely isn't a good reason to do it. Maybe what happens in part 2 and part 3 could be interesting. I don't expect it to be, but maybe. Who knows? I will say I'm a big fan of what I have seen Richard Brake in. I think he's a very talented actor who can sometimes spin shit into gold. And if he has a bigger hand in the next 2, I think that will definitely bump up the acting power involved. But I severely doubt it'll be enough to like save a whole trilogy of movies, but that might make it a little more interesting. We've covered it really. Everything about this movie is just so baseline AI written horror. Like every choice every character makes, the dialogue is so poor. It's so poorly written. The goofy jump scares, just the diner scene with the rednecks, the inhaler, 3 times with the fucking inhaler. I can't believe it. It's just bad. It's just bad. We've covered it. I don't need to go on any further. I was gonna give this a 1, but I'm gonna deduct a half a point for the fucking inhaler. It's getting a half star. Randeezy, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel so much vindictiveness about this movie as you guys do. That's a pretty high bar you guys just set in terms of
Thank you.
rage. Yeah, I don't know. Like I don't like this movie one bit. Like to me it is everything you guys said about it is completely accurate. Like it's tropey as shit. The way it's shot, and especially like again, like having watched the original right afterwards, the way the cinematography is done of that, it's like feels kind of handy cam. There's some like mockumentary style to it a little bit, like some shaky cam going on. Things that make it feel like you are in the room watching this happen. This movie has none of that. It's all very like rote cinematography is very rote. That's what I was trying to say. And you know, like all these things that they did so well in the first one, they do not do well here. They undercut the core premise by making it a trilogy in the first place, but also by making them, you know, not in a familiar location, as you pointed out, Justin. They make it like every fucking basic thing that happens in every Wrong Turn sequel happens here. You know what I mean? Like there's just nothing happening here that you can't get somewhere else done better. The acting, I think, is bad. I don't know how much to chalk that up to the writing, which is also bad. Like I feel like if I've seen Richard Brake do movies that are written poorly. I've seen several of them actually, and he can only do so much. He's got charisma. The man's got charisma, but he can only do so fucking much. I don't have any faith that his charisma is going to pull this show out of the fire. I just don't feel like it's possible because they just undercut the whole core conceit of this thing in pursuit of making a trilogy when it could have been just a single fucking movie or 2 most. And like I don't know, the fact that it's successful or whatever, I think that there's like shitty movies are successful every year. Like I'm not so concerned about that because as shitty as I'm told Night Swim was, it made money and it was an original concept. Great. I'm okay with that.
I'd rather
Yeah.
watch Night Swim a million
too, I haven't
times
seen
more
it.
over this
Same.
It could be
movie.
terrible. It
Yeah.
could be just as bad, and it's still a better thing for the genre that movie does well because it is
Oh,
an
yeah.
original property.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So spend the money on that shit. You want to make that a trilogy? Do it after that one's a success. This one, like, The Exorcist bombed so hard. The Exorcist, whatever it was, the most recent one, bombed so hard they just gave up on the other two, and I think that's wise. Like, I think
No,
that's
they're still making them, man. They're not.
Mike Flanagan
Well,
is. They're
Gord-
trying to get Flanagan.
They're trying to get Flanagan on board.
everybody's
yeah.
trying to get Flanagan.
That's true.
We'll
Somebody's
see.
gonna make it, even if it's not him. They're
I'm
getting
trying to
it.
I know.
get
I'm just
Flanagan.
I'm talking about the people that made that movie. They're like, no, this
David
fucked
Gordon
so bad.
Green said, "I'm gonna take my ball and go home."
Yeah, and I don't blame him, and I blame
Yeah.
him for the quality of the movie, but not for
I
taking his
do
ball and
blame
going home.
Do you?
I don't know,
I
man.
couldn't tell.
Yeah.
I'm spinning out here a little bit, but all this to say, this is not a good movie. It's very overly by the numbers. It's insultingly by the numbers to the point where any average moviegoer that's not a horror aficionado will have similar critiques to us, people who watch horror every fucking week ad nauseum. That's not good. And it's not servicing the genre. I sat in a theater with multiple people around me, and I don't think that I saw anybody jump. I saw people on their phones. I didn't see people doing, like, people weren't engaged. This movie, for being as tropey as any other successful movie, like Wrong Turns or whatever, like, that gets butts in seats, they don't last. It's trash. It's ultimately a trash movie, and it sucks. It just sucks. I don't know. I'm gonna give it a 1. I'm not gonna minus the 0.5,
Randy.
but I will give it the 1. I think that there is a possibility that the sequels could enter so bad they're good territory, so bad that they make me laugh territory, and that I might be interested in, but I'm in no way interested in seeing the other movies. If we end up reviewing them, fine, but I'm not gonna go see these. And I agree to an extent, Justin, like, we need to not reward dumb sequels that look bad or dumb trilogies, like all this shit. Like, just because it has recognizable faces or names doesn't mean anything. And it's not even faces, it's just titles, franchises. It's the IP world now, and everybody's trying to capitalize on that shit, and it just sucks. Have an original idea, put some original shit out there, catch fire with something, please.
Word.
Like, attempt to.
I think we are still getting a decent amount of original stuff coming out. So, like, there is a balance, but
Yeah.
I'm
it's
just
true.
appealing
It
to
is
the
what it is.
wider to the people who make it and the wider audiences
Totally.
who are rewarding this movie.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
mean, I agree, but there was that Demeter movie did for, like, so, it's I guess technically more of a game if you're going to do something purely original, but that is what we want, man, for sure. That is absolutely what we want. Or you could knock it out of the park like Ty West has done, like we've already mentioned. Now he's making 3 original movies that are all straight bangers. I mean, do that, Anyway,
New
It's,
horror icon right there.
right there, yeah, classic character. With Randy's 1, that's going to put our aggregate at a 0.7. Not favorable. There you go.
No,
let's-
not favor.
Let's go ahead and jump into our Rotten Tomatoes segment, see what the critics and users think about The Strangers, Chapter 1.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Rotten Tomatoes segment in which I'm going to ask these gentlemen to guess within the best of their abilities to guess what the aggregate positive score is for both critics and users on RottenTomatoes.com. So we are going to take a look first at the critics, as we always do. Let's see, there are 82 reviews to account for here. Out of those 82, we need to find the aggregate of positive scores. And I'm going to start with Juice today. You've been on a tirade. Let's give you a chance to see if you can guess if the critics agree with you or not.
All right. See if I can keep that tirade going. This better not be high. It better not. I'm gonna say 30, an optimistic 30%. If it's higher than that, gonna be mad.
Gonna be mad. I'm mad.
I'm not gonna be a man of the critics anymore.
Oh man, Bob, Where are you coming in on that? Over, under? Are you going 90? What are you thinking?
I'm gonna be. I'll be the realist this week, okay? And I'll take the under. All right,
Oh,
somebody's
thank
got
God.
to do it.
No, that's acceptable, Bob. As long as it's the under.
As long as-
Oh, thank God it's acceptable. Oh,
Woo, woo.
I'll take the 25%.
25. All right, 25%. I'm going to say that you guys are right in the zone of interest.
Thank
Here.
God.
One of you is only 4 percentage points off, and that person is Bob. You both overestimated this.
No,
It's a
that-
21%.
That's great.
Ooh.
Good job, Bob.
21.
Hell skeet. That's great.
Yeah.
It's great to hear. Love to hear it.
Vengeance will be mine,
That's the best
That is
hell
a-
skeet we've ever gotten.
That's a good bump. I like that one. Cool.
All right, let's jump on over to our audience score. There's 250 plus verified ratings here, so almost 300, I guess, getting to 300. We'll start with Bob, go in reverse order here. Bob, what do you think those 250 plus verified ratings amount to in terms of aggregate positive score?
I still think it's going to be low. I could see potentially folks watching this that maybe hadn't seen the original would think it'd be just like, a somewhat passable slasher. I don't think anybody's loving this. Like, I have difficulty believing really anybody would be blown away by this. So I'll just take a 50, like right down the middle, and I think that's generous.
That
All
is
right,
generous.
50. All right, Juice, you got a pretty wide open field here. What are you thinking?
I'm gonna take the under on this one. I'm gonna take a 40.
40. All right. Well, I'll say this. You guys were, again, right in the zone of interest. And the winning participant is only 1 percentage point difference
Damn.
of away. The correct answer is 44%. Justin's going to steal this one away.
There we go.
44% positive from our verified users. Yeah, not
The
a
hell
liked movie.
ye.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
We got
It's
acceptable
good to see some
wins.
solidarity in
We got a
here.
skeet and a yeet, just
Yeah.
the way God intended.
The old skeet and yeet in the right order too.
Yep.
Whew,
That's what
We
we
did
like
it.
to hear.
we got there.
Yeah, just like
Yeah,
last
that's-
week too, I believe. We've got a few skeet and yeets lately.
The skeet and yeet. Man, that I just imagined what that could be, and I want to stop. So we're gonna move on.
It took you this long to imagine.
I
what
know
that could
it's been a
be.
couple
Yes.
weeks. We've got the old
I don't
skeet.
engage with
Yeah.
skeets and yeets. I don't do that.
My mind is
Um,
running wild.
I'm here for the paycheck.
Make your money, whore.
All right. So
I love how you paid yourself off. Oh, that's good.
what I gotta set up the bumps because you fucks ain't doing it. All right. Um, the critics' consensus reads as follows: lacking the chilling suspense of the original The Strangers and proving to be just unpleasant, this chapter 1 closes the book on itself.
Yeah,
Man,
Yeah,
critics' consensus. Is,
I approve of
coming in
that
high.
pun. Actually,
yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Closes the book on itself. Good stuff.
I rarely do.
Good
Yeah.
stuff.
Good,
Good stuff.
That's
Well,
The strangers are stranging into theaters.
It's strange. Right?
They're
Um,
chaptering in the theater.
Stranger, stranger.
All right, let's read some negative
Love it.
reviews. I gotta think one of them's gotta be funny, so we're gonna find one. All right, here we go. Negative. Strangers Chapter 1 retells the story of the original so it can set up more interesting sequels. Unfortunately, by overstretching the introduction of a new trilogy, it contradicts the franchise's ethos and embraces tiresome horror tropes. That's exactly
That's-
right. It's not
Yes,
funny,
that's
though.
100% correct.
Yeah, well done to you. Okay, let's find another one. The scares aren't scary, the gore isn't especially nasty, and there's very little reason for us to care about the two people running around and screaming. That's fair, but also could apply to a lot of movies. It's not vindictive enough.
Yeah, the thing about the original that's so great too is like you give a fuck because the whole
do.
there's so few kills like deaths in that, but it's okay because you care what's happening in the
Yeah.
film.
Well,
And
you care because
here,
they set up great melodrama at the front
Yeah.
end just between the
do.
characters. These are not happy characters that are just trying to be charming on camera and
Yeah.
failing. These are characters that are in a crisis mode already.
well, here
So,
I would
yeah.
rather there be a bunch of like crazy over the top kills to at least entertain me. I don't even have
Yeah.
that
No,
because
you
I don't
really
give a shit. Like,
Agree
Ugh.
across the board. Agree. I
Let's
think
see,
that's what
what
they
was-
do with Prey at Night. I think they lean into that goofiness instead of
Sure,
trying to keep
yeah.
it super serious. I think that was a really smart idea for a Stranger sequel because you just can't keep doing it.
Yeah.
I don't like it, but I definitely prefer it to this. So
Yeah.
all right, here's another negative one, unread. Follows the same basic rules and setup of the earlier movies without attempting anything to set itself apart in the least. Where are the funny? Somebody rail on this. Somebody. Let's see. The characters
I had
continually
my
make dumb
tirade,
decisions
so.
that will have. Yeah, you're gonna have to be the voice of rage in this comment section. The characters continually make dumb decisions that will have you yelling at your screen in frustration. There are barely any kills, and the ones that are there are dull and uninspired. These are all just like salient points.
Yeah.
I'm just,
What is
somebody
happening?
go off the rails. The actors are fully committed, and there are a few cool shots. But Rennie Harlan's first chapter in this new
Fully
trilogy follows the same
committed.
beats as the original film, albeit less effectively. That is way too
No.
demure.
Okay,
Not
we're
enough.
we're not
enough.
getting it. We're
No.
not getting it.
Nope.
No.
Let's just skip it. We did enough railing, I guess. On our
We
own,
did.
so
We
we're
railed
bringing the
for an
heat this
hour.
week.
Yeah.
Yeah, we railed.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we
Uh,
railed so good.
Damn.
Damn.
There was a little bit of trivia, but I pretty much already worked it into the conversation overall. So that's about it.
All right.
Okay.
But let's go ahead and jump into our cooter of the week.
Straight chillin'. Cooter of the week.
Juice, what is a cooter and why is it an inhaler this week?
Whoa, Cooter's a character type and a straight chillin' exclusive. Cooter must hit 3 of these 5 points to be considered a cooter, but we want the cooter with the most points. The 5 points of cooterdom are sexual deviance, manipulation, smug arrogance, overall look and attire, and overall patheticness. Boys, is there a cooter this week?
I don't know. Like, do I have to interrogate this?
A
I-
stranger?
Oh, they manipulate.
How about the entire fucking town of Venus, who are just huge pricks unilaterally, and
Yeah,
like,
they
painted as, like,
probably
every
all
stereotype.
manipulate. They're all arrogant. They're all pathetic. They serve shitty tuna melts.
Yeah, lock them up. We got them, boys.
They're dressed dumb because they got stupid masks and bags on their heads. And then the one dude watches the chick shower. That's sexual deviance. Boom, got them all.
Boom, got them all.
yeah, it's,
Look at that.
yeah.
Lock them up.
This
We're
movie
done
sucks.
here.
Let's not even talk about it anymore. Yep. Moving on. Moving on.
Remember that one episode that the boys from Straight Chum were just completely broken? Their spirits were shattered by the Stranger's show.
Yeah, it was called
Uh-huh.
Halloween Ends, and then it happened again in
And
2024.
again and again.
It is
and
happening again.
And Scream 6 and fucking all the bullshit.
The Strangers. Strangers are Halloween ending.
All the
into
bullshit
theaters.
sequel remakes, piece of shit crap they're shelling out.
I'll tell you this. I won't be upset if this leads to another Strangers.
And The
Halloween Horror Nights house.
Exorcist and all of
fine.
the
Yeah.
bullshit.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's do something fun and talk about what we've been watching this week.
All right.
Hey gang, what you been watching?
Randeezy, what you been watching?
Yeah, so we've got a couple weeks of backup here. Some of this stuff has like been talked about on the Slack since, but I'll try and zoom through it. First of all, I finally saw Stop Making Sense, which is the Talking Heads concert film that is like
Oh, cool.
it's
how was
lauded
it?
as like the greatest concert film of all time, and it's good for a concert film. I'm not usually
Yeah.
that big on them. It's very creative what they do to like mix things up and keep the momentum forward. It's a good live show or whatever. I just don't think that like concert footage does a lot for me, generally speaking. So like it was good. I enjoyed it. I still prefer their movie True Stories. I think that's way more like interesting to me. But it was fine. I enjoyed it fine. I don't know that I'll go back for much of a rewatch, but I sure liked the songs. They performed them well, and they did some cool shit on stage. So
Cool.
And the Tom Tom Club was there. Hey. Also watched some of Everyone's in LA, the John Mulaney special live events that were happening on Netflix, and I could not and still cannot think of them without thinking that I would rather be watching the Chris Gethard show, which is that, but with no money and with no star power and much more chaotic. And I watched it for years, and I was a huge fan, and met Chris before, and just a very sweet guy. Mulaney, it's a funny show. It's perfectly fine. I like when it's talk shows have this sort of like going off the rails live feeling and like lack of format and just the willingness to allow things to become chaotic. But it was still too regulated for my taste because I've seen the Gethard show for so many years. Big fan of the Gethard show. And that actually leads into one of the frequent collaborators on that show, Connor O'Malley, had a stand-up special drop. I forget where now, but I want to say it was YouTube, maybe. I don't know. I watched this special, and it's like from the perspective of a guy who is presenting his company, which is like Industry Comedy Solutions or something, and it's like a business presentation, and he's like a very loud and boisterous character actor kind of guy. He's in a lot of shit. He was in I Saw the TV Glow. I wanted to bring it up then. He's the manager of the Fun Center. That's the guy.
Okay.
And his character work is so good. My favorite character of his is still from Gethard's show, which is the Beast Masturbator, who masturbates Beast for the Lord.
My God.
It's great.
God damn.
He's a fabulous character actor, and I liked his stand up quite a bit. I think I like his character work best still, though. Like, I don't know. We'll see how I think he's directing a movie now. Somebody told me on the Slack about a movie he's directing that's coming out, so I'm excited to see what that could be. Anyway, also watched a movie called Profile, which is a mockumentary, like it's like Host or like Missing, one of those movies. It all happens on a desktop, somebody's desktop.
Yeah.
But it's a dramatization of a true story about a English woman who infiltrates the recruitment processes of ISIS, and
Damn.
then gets basically recruited into ISIS, as many European young women often were and are, I guess, maybe, to join ISIS because they're disenfranchised or whatever, and they're like seduced by these people, and it's very, very fucked up. It's a very fucked up thing that has happened. The movie itself is a little bit melodramatic in a unreal way, which makes it seem like, as much as it's like I'm immersion guy, and I like seeing all this stuff happen, and I've liked that in other formats. I'm very engaged by that. But it was like maybe the drama was a little bit too heightened for me to buy it, that this journalist is behaving in this way or that way all the time. So I don't know. It was a little bit of a mixed bag, but I'm generally favorable towards it. I think it was a pretty good movie. I don't know when it came out. I don't remember, but I think it's worth a watch. If you like Missing or Searching or Host, those kind of movies. This is not like Host because it's not supernatural, but it's cool. It's cool for that sort of thing. Also rewatched the movie A Futile and Stupid Gesture, which is about Tom Kenny and the National Lampoon. I hadn't seen it since it first came out, and man, that is just a very, very easy movie to watch. It's very enjoyable. A lot of great comedic actors in that, and playing other comedic actors. Watching fucking Joel McHale play Chevy Chase, a man who he is on record as hating very much, is pretty great. Yeah. Also watched 2 episodes of Fallout. I'm not sure I'm grabbed by this show yet. I don't know how many episodes it took other people, but for me, like the hype around it made it seem like it was like Game of Thrones level hype, and I was just like, I generally like it. I like the actors. I like it looks great.
Yeah.
I don't know. The pieces are still being put into place. I'm gonna still give it more episodes, but I'm just not sure that I'm fully immersed yet into that one.
All right.
And is that the last one? Yeah, that's the last one. That's all I got.
Right
How
on.
about-
Juice. What you been watching?
I've been watching this show on Netflix. I think I just got one more episode left to go. It's called The 8 Show. It's some new Korean hotness that's really trying to capture that Squid Game vibe and success, I think. It's the premise is there's these 8 people that are like really kind of like desperate for money, and they go into this warehouse that's structured to be this kind of game setup that they have
It's
to
fictional.
do. It's fictional. It's
Okay.
based on a comic, I think.
Okay.
And they they earn money automatically, like money just generates for them, but at different rates based on some different aspects that you learn in the show. And the whole idea is to gain more time. So the money generates every minute, and depending on how long you can stay in the warehouse, depends on different things that you have to do to gain more time. So it's kind of like, it's like this take on needing money and how desperate people are and stuff like that and shit. It is not on the Squid Game level, and at times I think it gets quite sadistic and dark. It's quite dark actually, in a way that's like kind of a bummer sometimes, but it's an interesting show. I got to see how it wraps up. I got one more episode to go, but yeah, it goes to some dark places, honestly. But it has a very bright aesthetic. Like it's very like everything's very plasticky and like I don't know, like game showy looking or whatever. But yeah, it gets pretty dark. I watched In a Violent Nature, which is a horror film coming out very soon. Anyone who likes Friday the 13th movies should definitely check that out when it comes out. Maybe we'll be doing some kind of coverage on it eventually.
Bring
And
the
then
pretzels.
and then finally, the last thing I've been watching is another Korean show that's on Disney, and it's called Uncle Samshik. And it's got the guy, the main actor, I always forget his name, Kang something, who was in the movie we covered, for Memories of Murder. The main actor. He's in, and it's the first. He's a big movie actor here, but he's never done a drama, so it's his first drama, and it's a period piece about Korea, like right after the Korean War, and like it's kind of like got a mobster feel. It's like people like pulling the strings, like behind the scenes, and like trying to gain some social clout and stuff, kind of like a Sopranos or something like that, but it's pretty good because it's a period piece, and that dude's a really good actor, and he's just kind of like trying to pull the strings and stuff. It's pretty good. But yeah, that's all I've been watching. Bob, what you been watching?
A few things. I also watched Everybody's in LA, the talk show that's on Netflix, and enjoyed that a good bit. I definitely hadn't really seen much of the Chris Gethard show. I've seen it like here and there because you watch it all the time, Randy. But I got a kick out of it for what it was, and if they made more, I'd watch more. I like that Netflix is trying to do more live stuff. I think that's kind of a neat thing for these streaming platforms to get more into, and of course, it just further solidifies this whole snake eating its own tail situation that we find ourselves in here. But I dig it.
Does.
I also watched Miller's Girl, which is also on Netflix. It's that Jenna Ortega movie where she's like she's about to graduate high school, and she kind of gets into this romantic relationship with her English teacher, and it goes south, and she like blackmails him basically, and it's not particularly good, but it was entertaining enough, I guess. I don't know. It's like
Oh, we've all been there, hey boys.
I see it every day.
I'm blackmailed every day of my life.
You slut. I kind of expected more from the plot. It's not. There's really not a whole lot going on under the hood. It's fun. It's on Netflix. Spider-Man: Far From Home. We revisited that on our Marvel escapade, I guess. Whatever.
Yeah, what you think of that one?
It's okay.
So you were much further down than me and Randy on Homecoming. So do you still like Homecoming more than Far From Home?
I do. I think I would prefer Homecoming to Far From Home.
Me
I
too.
just
Me too.
it doesn't it just doesn't it feels like it doesn't fucking matter at all. It's like one of those Marvel movies that really just nothing super interesting happens. Is it? Well, the one thing that like really matters happens in the mid-credit sequence actually, which is
Yeah.
I don't know, I guess spoilers for this fucking movie, I guess, but where like everybody finds out who Spider-Man really is, and it's in the post-credit mid-credits roll, or like that's the thing that matters.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Everything before it is just like I don't really give a shit.
They're in Europe, Bob.
They are in Europe, and you get to see like Venice and London and some meat. things. So that is the setting is neat. Yeah, I get bonus point for the setting. It's okay. It's a popcorn movie. It's fine. I also finished watching season 2 of The Jinx, which is the HBO docu series. And it's Robert Durst. He gets caught. This season is largely about his trial and everybody.
Is it still going?
No, it's done, and they're
Is he in jail?
yeah. I mean, I guess spoilers if you didn't read the news stories as this was really happening. But yeah, he gets convicted, thrown in jail, and then dies.
Oh,
He's
good.
dead. Yeah,
Good.
kind of, but he didn't spend any time in jail for his crime, so
Oh.
it kind of sucks. But
Did he die of natural causes in jail, or he get like
He
shanked?
died of
Yeah.
burping too much.
Cardiac arrest and it was some heart failure. He is old as shit. He was like 82 or something, and he
Damn.
finally got convicted. So he, for all intents and purposes, got away with it. Really, I mean, I guess people know, but he
Yeah.
didn't spend hardly any time in jail for it.
Well,
I don't know. That season is like pretty pointless. I don't
Yeah.
really know.
just
why
watch
they
the
made it.
news.
Yeah,
Guess.
like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Watch
don't
the
know.
news,
I powered through,
which
and
I didn't.
yeah.
Apparently, I didn't know he's dead.
I also watched the first 1 or maybe 2 episodes of Fallout. I don't even remember how many I watched because I really didn't give a fuck. That
Oh,
is
damn.
not something that is interesting me at all.
All right, damn.
It made me maybe kind of want to play a game because, like, as a
Maybe.
game
Yeah.
setup,
Dude,
I
he's
just
got
don't like
time to
that. Would
play
require me
games.
getting a whole new fucking system. Yeah, that too, actually. But
It wasn't like it was poorly made or anything. I just don't care for some reason. I don't know.
It's
I
got
can't
a
really
lot of, like,
explain why.
there's some weird Force Awakens vibes going on with some of the main
Yeah.
characters. It feels like just literally in terms of what their characters do and what their motivations are. There's like a Finn stand-in and there's a Rey stand-in, and I don't know, man. I don't know if I've got to think it diverges from there at some point, but it's just
Yeah.
very strange.
I don't know.
We'll see.
Maybe it gets better. So everybody loves it, seemingly. So check it out. I guess, but maybe it's not for Rainy and I. Finally, I saw a show here in Jax. This band called Bad Nerves. It's like a pop punk band. They are from the UK, and they've got a tour going on now. If you're into pop punk, check them out. They're super badass, really high energy, young dudes, super nice. Check them out. They're great. Bad Nerves. And that's it. That's all I got. We don't have any voicemails this week, but if you guys are
Oh.
listening and would like to call and leave one for next week, hit us up at 904-638-3231.
Why don't you ever call me anymore?
What?
Not even
what
when you're
should
hot.
we ask folks? Why when they call us when you're hot? Actually.
Yeah.
I feel like it's been a while since somebody's done that.
Yeah, it used to be a
Colin
pretty regular
Stone,
thing.
it
Everybody
make
grew
no
up, I
sense.
guess.
Everybody grew up.
That doesn't track.
No,
Yeah.
that's impossible.
Yeah.
Let us know about, I don't know, maybe more modern classics. Chime in with some modern classics.
Just tell us like
Perhaps.
your strangers takes. Like if there's anybody who wants to defend the
Defend
strangers and
this
tell us to fuck
movie.
ourselves, then
Or-
please, I will listen intently.
Call in with strange encounters with strangers.
Oh my.
Oh man, we might get some wild stories, which is what
We
we want.
might,
So do
which
that.
is what we want. Yeah. Call in and let us know about your strange tales with strangers.
Tell us about your strange tales of San Francisco, please.
Let's make as many
Long
arguments. Yeah. 904-638-3231. Call in, let us know. We did get a voicemail actually, though. Or not a voicemail, an email. We got a really nice
Oh.
email. Do you have that, dude?
Oh yeah, yeah. I forgot we were gonna read it, but I do
Okay.
have it. Yes.
We can hit that real quick.
Okay. So I'm not going to read this person's name just because I don't know if they sent this with the intent for us to read it. So I'll just leave that out.
Keep it anonymous. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, they say this. Hi there. Just recently found your podcast and I'm loving it. Hell yeah, baby. I'm a
Sweet.
Yeah, there you go. I'm a chef and enjoy listening to episodes to get me through the long hours. So I realized that I am way late to comment on this since you guys did the podcast episode on American Psycho back in 2019. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
5 years
I
ago.
feel my feet touching the dirt of my own grave right now.
God damn. Randy. Fuck.
Oh, boys, imagine we'll be in another 5 years. Am I right?
No.
Woo! But I'm
Episode
Oh,
3000.
but I am just listening to it. Somebody's gonna be commenting on the Strangers chapter. American Psycho back in 2019, but I'm just listening to it now, and I actually just read the book last week. If I may, I'd like to give my insight on the film versus book, and I apologize if people have already emailed you to say these things. They don't. People don't care about us. In the novel of American Psycho, Patrick Bateman is 100% doing all the murders, and they are far worse in the book. His confession on the phone in the film is actually referencing all the murders in the book that they left out of the film. That's cool. The point of the movie is that everyone around them are so self-absorbed that you can be a crazy psychopath and no one would realize, especially because no one can remember who anyone actually is. And the thing about Paul Allen is that the realtor checked on the apartment, and in the time that Bateman wasn't there, she had it cleaned up because that would just cause legal trouble. Oh, and we all know that everyone in this story is focused on money and success. The woman seems very cold and a little scary herself and seems to sense the weirdness in Patrick telling him not to cause any trouble. She likely knew people who would dispose of whatever she found of in that apartment. I used to be one of those people who thought he imagined it all due to the way the film was made, but apparently the director even said she didn't intend for it to be so ambiguous. The way the book is written, though, is very real and visceral, and I've read and confirmed that it's all truly happening. Okay, which is wild. But I honestly kind of like it better that way. Anyways, I just wanted to share some of that info with you as a fan of horror, American Psycho, and your podcast. I have an entire list of episodes to catch up on for a while. Thank you for doing what you do, Dan. Yeah. Ah!
I'm gonna
My
keep
old
this
boy
up.
did it
was not-
anyway.
I did.
I gotta.
I was
I'll
just-
write
yeah.
down the timestamp so I can beat that.
motherfuckers just said that shit?
If Bob edited this, I read the name that I said at the beginning of reading that I would not read.
You can't put it on a teleprompter. He'll read it.
Oh my God.
Oh boy. Well, thanks for calling in, anonymous person. That is
Yeah.
a really,
Mystery
really
listener.
nice email you sent, and also some interesting like context for
Yeah.
American Psycho. I hadn't thought about it in a while, but I love the idea of everybody in that movie being like so self-involved that anonymity is like just a given. Like they couldn't
Yeah.
possibly begin to give a fuck about you. So you're
Pretty
free
good.
to do whatever you want to do. You know,
That
like,
is
that's-
interesting.
I also like
really
that
wild.
element of the confession kind of touching on some of the
Mhm.
the
I feel
that's
like I
that's a
heard
cool
that somewhere in
element.
the
Yeah,
movie.
I can't remember if that I guess it did come up, but yeah, that's just a cool way
might
to
have.
work it. You always hear,
Yeah.
oh, something from the book, it doesn't get where that's like a cool way to work it in.
No,
I kind of agree that I kind of like conceptually like better that, you know, people are so self-absorbed, because that is kind of the point. It's like people are
Yeah.
so self-absorbed that like this is all happening right under their nose, or isn't, like that he's just insane under their nose, whether or not he's killing people.
Especially
And
like
that
when he
kind of, like,
starts to say
pushes that
crazy
further.
shit and nobody
Right.
seems to realize it. You're
Nobody
like, well, is
cares,
it in
yeah.
his
Nobody
mind?
cares.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people are going missing or whatever. Like, yeah, all that shit. But I also like experientially, I still very much like that the movie
Me
plays
too,
out the way it does, because like the ambiguity around like Willem Dafoe and like the way they filmed that. We know that famous bit of trivia that he filmed it as if
Three
he knew,
different
as if he didn't
ways,
know,
yeah.
and as if you couldn't tell. And they
Mhm.
mixed them all up and mixed and matched them. I love
That's
that.
cool.
Experientially, it just like keeps me on my toes. So
Yeah.
I guess I'm split, but
Yeah.
still a great movie. And
I like both
very interesting to think
aspects or
about.
ideas of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Either way, it just works. You can't. It's a win-win. Yeah. Pretty solid trivia though for
Yeah.
the movie and the book in general. So yeah, thanks for that email.
Sure.
Really appreciate it. Yeah. If anybody else wants to send us an email, like if you just don't feel comfortable leaving a voicemail, that's cool. Just hit us up at straightchillingpodcast@gmail.com.
Yes.
Hit us up.
Please contact us. Please clap.
Yeah. Yeah.
Aw.
Randy, I'll clap for you. Here you go.
Oh,
I got
thanks,
you, buddy.
man.
That's
I
for you.
appreciate.
Anything else for it? That's pretty much it, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
that's
I
our
mean, you can
show.
keep complaining for another hour,
we
I guess.
we
but-
did the show. Well, we're in that case, we are going to be back next week with a brand new episode. As always, we're going to be tackling the next You Pick the Flick. This one was chosen by the one, the only G to the baby.
Whoa.
Holler, holler. The movie is
Holler.
Dead and Buried from 1981.
All right.
All right.
I don't
Check
think I've
it out.
seen that. Might be a first time
I
watch
have
for
not.
Shaboy.
Nice. I think last time I checked, it was on Shutter. Whenever G Baby sent this in a few weeks ago, I looked and it was on Shutter. So I think it's still there. If not, it's definitely on Blu-ray. Easy to find that way. But check it out. Dead and Buried from 1981. Joe Bob did it last season, I think. So there might even be some Joe Bob stuff on Shutter too. So check all that stuff out. Get ready for next week's show. And until then, we're on all the social medias. Just search Straight Chilling Podcast and we'll pop right up. If you want to join in our daily Slack channel conversations, hit us up on social media, say so, and I'll send you a link so you can join, talk about the movie of the week, but also TV shows, video games, trade recipes, pictures of our pets. It's very much a whole community and not just bashing on The Strangers Chapter 1. I
But there's
promise.
some of that as well.
There's a little bit of that. There's a little bit of that too. Cool. So yeah, until next week, as always, all you mother truckers, please keep chilling.
Come back anytime.